Hello everybody, this is Matty from the Football Insiders and I'm going to be doing my predictions against computer predictions today and see how right I am. Now the computer predictions technically is not exactly computer predicting, it's still me. I'll explain how it works in a moment. So, this is the Premier League table calculator. I'll leave a link to the description below if any of you want to give this a go. So, instead of just you going through and picking I want City top, I want Luton bottom, I want Palace in the middle. On your Premier League table, it's more sophisticated than that. So you go through, you put the score in for every game of the season, and then it'll calculate the points and it'll calculate your Premier League table. So I think it's going to be interesting. I'm going to show you my predictions now, just me picking the 20 teams, and then off camera I'll fill in all the scores for the season. I'll come back and I'll reveal what the table would be with all of my score predictions. And we'll see how it changes. I think it'll be quite interesting. So, we'll start off by showing you my actual predictions. So, I've got, in 20th place, we've got Sheffield United. 19th place, Luton. I'm going to go in really in depth in another video explaining why I've done this, but I want to be quite quick because most of the emphasis is going to be on the table calculator. 18th, Wolves. They're the three I'm getting relegated. Wolves, they can't score anyway. They've lost the best player, they've lost the manager. I just don't really rate them that much anymore. Used to rate them quite a lot, not anymore. Luton, I think they'll pick up a few 1-0 key wins at home, which will keep them away from bottom. But Sheffield United have got promoted and gotten worse, so that's why they're going down. Everton, 2 guarantees in the Premier League. Haaland to get top scorer, and Everton to survive by a couple of points. Burnley, Forest, West Ham, and Fulham make up the rest of mid-table. Yeah, pretty standard to be honest. Bournemouth, Palace, and Brentford. Brentford will be about here first half of the season, but then second half of the season when they get Tony back, I do believe they'll shoot back up the table. Spurs 9th, obviously they've lost Harry Kane. Then Brighton, Newcastle 7th, Champions League football is really going to hinder them, they haven't got that great of a squad. Liverpool, very thin squad, tactics are getting outdated now. No midfield whatsoever, high expectations. Villa 5th, incredible manager, good squad, good cohesion going in there. Chelsea, Arsenal and United, these could go either way. I honestly think there'll be a point or two between them. And obviously City to win the league. So that's my predictions. Now I'm going to head over and I'll fill in the first game of the season predictions in with you now. And then I'll do the rest off camera. So I'm going to say I think Burnley's going to... No, they're not going to score. We're going to say 2-0 to Man City, Haaland brace. Arsenal, Forest, I want to say... I'm going to put 2-0 as well. Bournemouth, West Ham, no, I think Bournemouth is going to beat West Ham 2-1. Brighton, I really rate Bournemouth this season, by the way. I think they've made a lot of really good signings, and obviously I'm going to be doing a video explaining all, rating everyone's transfer windows, so we'll get into some of that then. I think away from home, Luton's going to get hammered 3-0 off Brighton. Everton, Fulham, that's going to be the most boring game of the season at 0-0. Sheffield United, Palace, I'm going to put that as a Palace 1-0 win. Newcastle, Villa, that's going to be a Villa 1-0 win away. Brentford, Spurs, it's going to be a 1-1 draw. Chelsea, Liverpool, Chelsea's going to top this one 3-1. United, Wolves, United are going to win that game 2-0. So that's my first game of the season. Move on to the second game. Table after the first game of the season, that's how it's going to look. But yeah, I'll do this every game of the season, and then I will be back with you when actually I'm going to come back in the midway point. Here we go, we're back, and I am going to do my predictions for the 20th game. As we left off, 20 games played. I think it's going to be some drastic changes after we've done these ones. So we're going to say Aston Villa to beat Burnley 2-1. Palace to draw 2-2 with Palace. Palace to draw 2-2 with Brentford. Fulham to lose 2-1 at Arsenal. Liverpool to beat Newcastle 3-1. Luton 2-0 down to Chelsea. Man City to beat Sheffield United 3-0. Forest 0, United 2. Spurs are going to beat Bournemouth 2-1. West Ham are going to beat Brighton at home. And Wolves are going to draw 2-2 with Everton. Calculate. Now this is the table. And shuffled around at the bottom a bit. Wolves have escaped the relegation zone. Liverpool have climbed quite a bit. Villa have stuck in the top 4. Chelsea's gone up a second. United have properly dropped off a bit. But that's how it's looking now. We will move on to the next section. Here we are, and we're back on the 30th game of the season. So as we remember, this was the table looking pretty good. But let's do game number 30 and see how it looks. So we're going to put for game number 30. I'm going to say Bournemouth are going to draw with Everton 1-1 at home. Aston Villa is going to beat Wolves 2-1. Brentford is going to lose out 2-1 to Man United. Chelsea is going to beat Burnley 3-0. Liverpool is going to beat Brighton 2-0. Man City Arsenal, this time it's going to be 3-2. The first time it was 3-0 at the Emirates. It's going to be 3-2 at the Etihad. Newcastle West Ham is going to be 2-1 in Newcastle. Forest Palace is going to be a 0-0. Sheffield United Fulham is going to be a 1-0 to Fulham, and Spurs are going to beat Luton 2-1. Let's calculate. Oh, Chelsea's flew down the table after this section of the season. Sheffield United have pushed themselves at the top of the relegation zone. They've all picked up a few points, but the relegation zone still just these three. Everton are really pushing on for the table. Liverpool have pushed themselves in the top 3 this time. And Villa still sticking around there. They're dropping off a little bit every time though. Man City clear at the top, as you'd expect. They've got 8 goals to score 13 games to get the 100 goals. Spurs 8. This is all pretty much what I expect, but it's a bit different to my predictions. So we'll move on, we'll finish it off, and we'll come back to the last game of the season. Here we are on the final game of the season, and as usual the relegated teams have pushed on a bit to try and escape that relegation zone, see if any of them do. Obviously a lot of shifting around at the top with a lot to play for. Last game of the season, Arsenal are going to beat Everton 2-1. Everton have got nothing to play for, Arsenal have got everything to play for. And Brentford Newcastle is going to be 1-0 to Newcastle, just about. Brentford may have to survive relegation with this game, but Newcastle also have to play the Europa League. That's going to be a huge game. Brighton Man United is going to be 2-0 at Man United, quite routine. Burnley's going to beat Forest 1-0. Chelsea is going to beat Bournemouth 2-0. Palace Villa is going to be 2-2 in the end. Liverpool is going to beat Wolves. In fact, no, Liverpool is going to draw to Wolves 2-2 on the last game of the season. Wolves are trying to push to escape relegation, but they just can't do it enough. Luton just don't have enough to beat Fulham. Man City are going to ease through in the final game of the season, win 3-0 and lift the title. And Sheffield United are going to be 2-1 down to Spurs. So the final table of the Premier League season, calculated by results of every single game, are... there we have it. Wolves have escaped by 1 point on the last game of the season. Forest's gone down. Liverpool 6th. I'm pretty sure I had that on my predictions. Let's have a look. I did have Liverpool 6th. I had Villa 5th. They ended up in 8th. I had Spurs in 9th and they ended up finishing 4th. It's a weird one. Chelsea and United were tied on points. Chelsea just got it on goal difference, because they'd drawn a lot more and United had lost a lot more. City got the title, not with the 100 points though. Spurs managed in top 4. Very interesting actually. So if we compare them, we'll see come the end of the season which one is more realistic. So thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you next time.